Alright guys, so in this video today for this week I want to discuss something that can be a little bit difficult, and that is how you tell your family that you bought a motorcycle. To summarize what it was like for me, I'm married and I had to, of course, let my wife know that I had interest in this, and I wanted to make sure that she would be okay with it, because that's what you're supposed to do as a good husband. I went to her in private, talked about it, expressed how much I was interested in it and really wanted to try it, and thankfully she was awesome and supported me after an initial little bit of a shock and a little bit of concern. But I told her I was planning on taking the rider's course and making sure that I would learn all of the safety mechanisms that you need. Thanks, man. After making sure, I told her that I was planning on taking the rider's course to get your motorcycle endorsement on your license. I wanted to make sure that I did it the right way and that I learned all of the proper safety precautions to make sure that I rode safely. For me, after my wife said that it was, I had the green light, she said it was okay with her if I went out and got a bike. I knew I wanted to go ahead and do it before I told the rest of my family, just because I knew I would receive a lot of resistance from the rest of my family, because I come from a family where nobody rides motorcycles. And my whole life growing up, everyone already sort of joked around about how riding motorcycles was so unsafe and it's stupid to do it, and all of the typical things that people say about riding a bike. And I actually felt that way at first too, and then once I got used to the idea of it and I took that course, I really learned a lot. It gave me a lot of confidence in making sure that I felt comfortable getting out on the road. So once I was comfortable enough with it, I went out, I bought a bike. It wasn't this bike, it was actually a 2006 Harley Davidson Sportster 1200 Custom. It was a blue bike, it was a lot of fun. I rode it around for a couple of days and I got used to it before I went ahead and called my family. And when I called my family, I tried to break the news slowly. Called my mom first, and my mom, I actually had gotten into riding scooters back when I lived in Florida before deciding to get a motorcycle. She wasn't too happy about me getting a scooter either. But then when I finally got a bike, I tried to break the news slowly. She sort of figured it out as I was starting to spell the news that I had gotten a motorcycle, and she was unhappy. And then when I mentioned that it was a Harley, her reaction was hilarious, because she said, at first you had scooters, but now you go out and get a motorcycle and a Harley Davidson. She really, for whatever reason, getting a Harley really made her upset. But I love you, Mom, if you're watching this, and I always ride safely, and she knows that I ride safely now, and I've never come close to being in an accident. I've never had any problems. But that brings me to my next point, and that was that after telling all of my family, I realized something, and that's just that they care about you. They want to make sure that you're safe. So making sure that they know that I love them and that I was going to take that rider's course. I was going to get my actual motorcycle endorsement. You'd be surprised how many people, I'm sure a lot of you, don't even have your endorsement. You just went out and bought a bike secondhand, and you're just riding around hoping you never get caught. Sometimes that's all you really have to do. You just have to make sure that your family's comfortable with the idea that you're going to be on a bike. You have to make sure that your family doesn't have that stigma attached to the idea of riding a motorcycle that a lot of society can sort of attach to it. I wanted to make sure they knew that I wasn't going to be doing crazy things or anything like that. I just wanted to ride around on two wheels and have fun. I can't say that it went completely successfully, because they were pretty much sort of agree to disagree type of scenario, but over time I sort of won them over with riding safely and proving over the years that I've never gotten into any accidents. I've never gotten any tickets on a bike. I explained to them how I'm more safe on a motorcycle. I'm very aware of my surroundings. I understand what's going on the road. I'm not distracted on my phone or listening to the radio or something. I'm actually much more in tune with what's going on. That helps a lot too when you explain to them more of the things you do on the road that really help you stay safe. That seemed to really, over time, make my family feel a lot more comfortable with what I was doing. And when it comes to your significant other, winning them over in the first place to get them to give you their blessing for going and buying a bike and riding around is one thing, but once you get them to ride on the back of the bike with you, that helps a lot with winning them over. Because when my wife rode on the back of the bike with me for the first time, she really enjoyed it and had a lot of fun, and could see why I was enjoying it so much. So I suggest doing that, taking your loved ones for a spin, short little spin, nothing too crazy, so that they can see what it's like if they've never been on a bike, and that helps them understand why it's so much fun for you. They may never agree with it, they may never completely condone it, but at least they can have some sort of relatability to why you enjoy it. So to summarize what I'm trying to convey here today, basically, you're gonna go out and ride. You know you wanna ride a motorcycle, you're gonna go buy one. Your family's gonna have to be a part of the decision whether you like it or not, and breaking the news to them gently. If you think they're not gonna approve of it, is smart. Making sure that you let them know that you love them, making sure that you let them know all the safe practices you're gonna be doing, making sure that you take that rider's course and that they know that you're going to be taking that rider's course is a big deal. That was the biggest factor for my family, feeling peaceful about me first riding a bike. Doing all of those things can really go a long way to making sure that your family doesn't necessarily agree with it or condone it, but they'll at least still love you and have some sort of understanding as to why you want to do it. And as time goes on, the topic will just become more normal, and they will just eventually adapt and understand that it's something that you're a part of. And the longer you go without being in an accident and you don't end up being one of those motorcycle crash statistics, the more likely they'll start to understand and maybe even eventually want to take the bike for a spin themselves. Eventually my dad actually took the bike out. He rode a bike for a couple of months in college, much smaller bike, nothing like a Harley, but he took it down the street and he blew his socks off. He had a really good time, but he said immediately he knew that that wasn't for him anymore. It was really funny. Well, I think that's going to be it for me today. I'm sweating like a pig out here. Didn't anticipate it being 100 degrees at 9 o'clock at night, but this is West Texas, so I'll see you guys next week. See ya.